This is the story of Abigail, Nabal, and David from 1 Samuel 25. A certain man in Maon was very wealthy. He owned property at Carmel. He had 1,000 goats and 3,000 sheep. He was clipping wool off his sheep in Carmel. His name was Nabal. His wife's name was Abigail, and she was a wise and beautiful woman. But her husband was rude and mean in the way he treated others. David was staying in the desert of Maon. While he was there, he heard that Nabal was clipping wool off his sheep. So he sent for his young men, and he said to them, "Go up to Nabal at Carmel. Greet him for me, and say to him, 'May you live a long time. May everything go well with you and your family, and may things go well with everything that belongs to you. I hear that you are clipping wool off your sheep. When your shepherds were with us, we treated them well. The whole time they were at Carmel, nothing that belonged to them was stolen. Ask your servants, they'll tell you. We've come now to you at a happy time of the year. Please show favor to my young men. Please give me and my men any food you can find for us." When David's men arrived, they gave Nabal the message from David. Then they waited. Nabal answered David's servants, "Who is this David? Who is this son of Jesse? Many servants are running away from their masters these days. Why should I give away my bread and water? Why should I give away the meat I prepared for those who clip the wool off my sheep? Why should I give food to men who come from who knows where?" So David's men turned around and went back. When they arrived, they reported to David every word Nabal had spoken. David said to his men, "Put on your swords." So they put their swords on, and David put his on too. About 400 men went up with David. One of the servants warned Nabal's wife, Abigail. He said, "David sent some messengers from the desert to give his greetings to our master, but Nabal shouted at them and made fun of them. David's men had been very good to us. They treated us well. The whole time we were near out in the fields, nothing was stolen. We were taking care of our sheep near them, and during that time, they were like a wall around us night and day. They kept us safe. Now think it over, see what you can do. Horrible trouble will soon come to our master and his whole family. He is such an evil man that no one can even talk to him." Abigail didn't waste any time. She got 200 loaves of bread and bottles of wine, and she got sheep that were ready to be cooked. She got a bushel of grain that had been cooked and 100 raisin cakes and 200 cakes of pressed figs. She loaded all of it on the backs of donkeys. Then she told her servants, "Go on ahead, I'll follow you." But she didn't tell her husband Nabal about it. Abigail rode her donkey into a mountain valley, and there she saw David and his men. They were coming down toward her. David had just told his men, "Everything we've done hasn't been worth a thing. I watched over that fellow's property in the desert. I made sure none of it was stolen, but he has paid me back evil for good. I won't leave even one of his men alive until morning. If I do, may God punish me greatly." When Abigail saw David, she quickly got off her donkey. She bowed down in front of David with her face toward the ground. She fell at his feet and said, "Please let me speak to you, sir. Listen to what I'm saying. Let me take the blame myself. Don't pay attention to that evil man Nabal. His name means foolish person, and that is exactly what he is. He's always doing foolish things. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see the men you sent. Sir, the Lord has kept you from killing Nabal and his men. He's kept you from using your own hands to get even with him. May what's about to happen to Nabal happen to all your enemies. May it also happen to everyone who wants to harm you. And may it happen just as surely as the Lord and you are alive. I've brought a gift for you. Give it to the men who follow you. Please forgive me for what I've done wrong. The Lord will certainly give you and your family a line that the kingdom will last. That's because you fight the Lord's battles. Don't do anything wrong as long as you live. The Lord will do for you every good thing He promised to do. He'll appoint you leader over Israel. And when that happens, you won't have this heavy load on your mind. You won't have to worry about how you killed people without any reason. You won't have to worry about how you got even. The Lord will give you success. When that happens, please remember me." David said to Abigail, "Give praise to the Lord. He is the God of Israel. He sent you today to find me. May the Lord bless you for what you have done. You have shown a lot of good sense. You have kept me from killing Nabal and his men this very day. You have kept me from using my own hands to get even. It's a good thing you came quickly to meet me. If you hadn't come, none of Nabal's men would have been left alive by sunrise. And that's just as sure as the Lord God of Israel is alive. He has kept me from harming you." Then David accepted from her what she had brought to him. He said, "Go home in peace. I've heard your words. I'll do what you have asked." Abigail went back to Nabal. He was having a dinner party in the house. It was the kind of dinner a king would have. He'd been drinking too much wine, and he was very drunk, so she didn't tell him anything at all until sunrise. The next morning, Nabal wasn't drunk anymore, and then his wife told him everything, and when she did, his heart grew weak. He became like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal down, and he died. David heard that Nabal was dead, so he said, "Give praise to the Lord. Nabal made fun of me, but the Lord stood up for me. He has kept me from doing something wrong. He has paid Nabal back for the wrong things he did." Then David sent a message to Abigail. He asked her to become his wife. His servants went to Carmel. They said to Abigail, "David has sent us to you. He wants you to come back with us and become his wife." Abigail bowed down with her face toward the ground. She said, "Here I am. I'm ready to serve him. I'm ready to wash the feet of his servants." Abigail quickly got on a donkey and went with David's messengers. Her servants went with her, and she became David's wife.